Good evening to all viewers, teachers, parents, and students. Welcome to another session of YIC. This time around, we're going to look at some question and answer session. We have compiled a list of questions from participants. What we will do today is we will go through some of these questions and its answers. I have with me Dr. Nurain, who's a committee member of the YIC 2022. Okay. Meanwhile, viewers and participants, while you are listening, I hope it benefits you a bit. You can also post your questions, new questions if you have, or something related further to what I'm trying to answer today, I and Dr. Nurain, on the comment section. So we will look at those questions that you ask and see whether we can answer them as well together with this question and answer session. I and Dr. Nurain will take turns. We have compiled the whole list of questions, so we'll take turns to answer some of them. So bear with us. I hope it sort of is helpful to you, but definitely it will answer those who actually posted those questions earlier. By the way, my name is Anandan. I'm the project director for YIC for this year. Okay, let's take a question. One question. This is a simple one. The question is related to extension of deadline for report and video. The actual question is, a participant has asked, is it possible for the YIC to extend the submission date of the pitching video and report? Can you please postpone the submission date for report and pitching? Actually, this is sort of a common question we get annually. And we do. We are flexible and we do. Okay. As agreed in the last committee meeting, we would like to officially inform the teams that we have already extended the submission date, which was initially, which was at the end of August. So now we have extended it 2 weeks to 14th September 2022. We have announced the shortlisted teams' details on 1st of July, and we are giving you almost 2.5 months to prepare your invention pitch video and report. So I hope that 2 weeks of extension is helpful. And as you know that we will not be able to extend further so much because we'll run back to back to the next process in YIC 2022. Okay, maybe I'll ask Dr. Nurain to take the next question.
Okay, hi everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. So I'm Dr. Noain. So I'll be answering the next question. So this second question is relating to invention or the thought process. So the question is about the question is like asking about if the participant or can they improvise the structural design to meet the reality for prototype, but meanwhile they still remain the same mechanism or the operation. So the answer it should be like sure any improvement for your structural design can be made as long it's not a major, or as long the idea or the objectives are still remain the same. So because we are interested to see the prototype to be understand the changes to the design, as well to understand the thought process by the team members on why you feel that any changes, or it may be like a minor changes, can be or can make a sizable change to the current method. So yeah, the answer is like you are allowed to improvise your structural design.
Thank you, Dr. Nurai. I see there's only a few of you there. I hope many more will join. Okay. Uh, I have a couple of questions related to software development. Right. This is also something that we do get from time to time, because a lot of young students are pretty good in software. So whenever the first thing they'll think as a solution is some sort of a software. So there are two questions. Let me read the questions as they are, and then we look at an answer to both of them in one go. The first question is, in terms of application scientific concept, what if a product that only involves software, for example, mobile app? So the student is asking, do we explain the only the front end and the back end of that mobile app? Okay. Is that what is needed? Okay. Second, student is asking, related to app, the question goes like this. I would like to inquire regarding the desired output for YIC 2022. The guidelines state that the content of the video presentation needs to show our working prototype or simulation. That's the general term that we always use, terminology that we use, working prototype or a simulation. With regards to our invention, which is a type of application, does it mean we could simulate the functions of our application rather than coding it from scratch? Your response to clarify our question will be much appreciated. Okay. So this particular student is asking whether they should simulate the software, or they should explain the code. Okay. We hope that whenever you are developing a mobile app, that the mobile app is not conceptual. Okay, we want a functioning mobile app. Okay, that means at the end of the YIC, when you come at the final, we want you to show the mobile app. Okay, a end product of the app. Okay, you could elaborate to us what your mobile app will try to solve based on the theme. Of course, it has to be related, somehow related to the theme. Remember that you need to link the existing issue based on the theme, so that you can see back, you can sort of connect it back to your app. Okay, the app must be some sort that can help to solve matters related to the theme, the SDG theme. Okay, we believe that in the process of thinking, creating an idea, and developing the mobile app, observations would have been made to allow the functionality and the layout of the application. So surely you would have thought how to develop an app. It will have this function. It will have this sort of layout. These are the things we want you to explain. Okay, you can talk about perhaps the observation you made on a particular issue, and perhaps there's a scientific principle or process linked directly or indirectly to the mobile application. For example, rather than talking just as an app, okay, for example, in a hydroponic project, you observe that the parameters of optimum growth are at certain temperature, humidity, and pH. This is also now widely being explored. That means a particular plant has a particular set of temperature, humidity, pH. Okay. Therefore, your application sets a parameter of the following measurements to optimum levels. What do we mean by this is, for example, if if your app is looking after a particular plant, whatever the plant, let's say salad, so there is a particular temperature, pH, and humidity for salad. So the software will allow to control or to set those parameters of that growth. Then it will be excellent. Then the app sounds absolutely necessary. Yeah. Okay. Another idea, okay, if we are not doing that sort of work, okay, another idea would be to explain to us the technical requirements behind the mobile app. Okay, what effort have you made to make sure that the mobile app is working well? Okay, meaning you can explain the logical flow chart or algorithm of your mobile app. So when we say algorithm or flow chart, you don't have to explain code by code. Some of the apps have thousands of lines of codes. That's not what we are expecting. We are expecting you to tell us the logic behind it, the flow behind it, so that we can understand the importance of it. Okay. In regards to coding from scratch, okay, meaning, do you need, as a developer, as a mobile app developer, do you need to develop the software from scratch, or are you allowed to borrow codes? Okay. Okay, this is a gray area. If your approach is to purely take the sort of codings plug and play, that means you take functions from here, take functions from there, and present that as a final solution or innovation, you may not score much. So keep this in mind. You cannot sort of pull a part of software here, there, and then compile them together and say, hey, this is my working. So that you will be able to, but you will not be able to score much. Okay. But let's say if you do use some functions, there are a lot of GitHubs with a lot of functions available. We do ask you to use them. I mean, whenever it's useful, please do use them. If you are using such codes from someone else, you need to explain the rationale for doing so. For example, to save time, so that you can develop a bigger app which has a bigger objective and purpose. While the coding that you took from elsewhere is only a small component. That means you enhance the work. That is what we want to see in you inventors. Okay. You can also it's also definitely you should reference where you got that initial code from. Okay, so we should reference the coding site. What major improvement you did to that code? Okay, what are the things that you add on? What value did you add on? Okay, and how does it? What sort of additional functionality or hardware link that the code cost? Okay, this is a long answer to a short question about mobile app, because many students will have some sort of a confusion when it comes to mobile app. Can I only show mobile app as an innovation? Yes, you can. Okay, software alone can be an innovation. In fact, these are big innovations in many parts of the world. We do encourage you, but it is not copy paste type. Okay, we should really understand the problem, and then you innovate a software and put the software as a solution. Back to you, Dr. Norai.
Okay, hi. So yeah, following Mr. Anandan question about developing app. So we also our next question also is about developing app. So the question is about if we are developing an app to get more people to recycle, so can social science principle be used as a scientific principle? So this question is asking whether they can use a social science principle as the main or like a baseline principle of their project proposal or project base. So the answer would be like so we kind of like assume the principles they gonna be used, or it will be an information application to allow others to rely the effect of for example plastic waste. Okay, so perhaps you can link the important information, for example a process of plastic making, to the relevant scientific principle. So like just now Mr. Anandan was saying that uh, when you innovating or developing an app, the app should like kind of like solve your SDG theme. So on a serious note, we do not see foresee any issue of using a social science approach to the scientific principle. So meaning perhaps you can integrate, or like both approach can be used to follow the scientific methods, okay, which are first about the observation, about triggering a question. So mainly come up with some hypothesis, okay, and then when you are conducting your experiment, or the methodology, okay, for example like a survey or questionnaire, okay. Next, then you have to show or the result, and following from your experiment, you should have a quite strong, or you can conclude your experiment. And lastly, you should like able to use the method or the principle as well to refine the hypothesis. So we would like then to see your approach in your incoming to your hypothesis. For example, based on your observation, you can conduct a survey upon which you use to support a hypothesis. Perhaps you also can do extraction of information from journal or references, and refine the hypothesis to cater your school or town. Okay, so of course, the answer again, you can integrate, or you also can use the social science principle together with the scientific principle in developing apps or any innovation that you're going to do. Okay, so I pass back to Mr. Anandan for the next question.
Thank you, Dr. Nurain. If I may just add a little bit more to what Dr. Nurain said. Okay, the reason way back many years ago, where when we wanted all teams, when they pitch their final product, we wanted them to also be able to explain the scientific principles behind. Okay, so when we say scientific principle, it means including social sciences, any sciences. Huh? The reason for asking you to do so is so that whenever you are inventing a solution, we need a reason to invent. Okay, there is a problem that it addresses, while the inventor understands that there is a certain science behind it, whether it's a fundamental science or technological or developmental science. There is a science behind it, and this includes social science as well. Okay, so we want to make an inventors knowledgeable. So part of the training for YIC is to make you more uh, knowledgeable in inventing. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nurain, once again. Okay. The next question is looks simple. Okay. Anyhow, I will look at it. The information is available, but never mind. Question is how to make a project report. How many pages is the report? Many of you by now would know this. First of all, please review the YouTube video released by ASTI called YIC Online Training, Session 3 and 4, respectively, where we have provided a list of criteria and components of report writing. So, in fact, it's about report writing. Okay, on a go. Okay, on a flash. There are some of the requirements we want to remind you again. Your report should be in English. So we feel that inventors must be able to communicate in English. The page limit is 5 pages maximum, excluding references. The font is Times Roman 12 point. The line spacing is 1. The project report must be a PDF file, and named starting must be the title must be YIC 2022 report followed by your team name. There's also a Google link for you to submit, okay, which is available on our website. But just in case, I don't know whether you can see or not, okay, but you can see the link, okay. If you have any queries about submission and all that, you can definitely get back to our secretariat, as well as email us. Maybe back to you, Dr. Nurain.
Okay, yeah. So following the question about report, so now is the next question is about video report. So about regarding pitch video. So the question is asking, should we do it like a formal or second one, or should we present in casual and a creative way? So I think we already mentioned, like as we are happy to accommodate the format that the team is comfortable with. So, if you think that you want to do it like a formal or casual or any other creative way, yeah, please do. So, but however, you please make sure that your video is no longer than 5 minutes and cover the pertinence point that we have mentioned to you in the previous judging criteria session. So, above all, the our we YIC committee wants the team to stay safe and have fun while the team go through the YIC process. So following with that as well, the about video related, okay, or video pitching, they are asking as well, must we wear a school uniform, or can we wear a smart casual? Are we required to wear our school uniform during the pitch video? Okay, so it's also tally with the previous question, whether you want to do it as a formal or as a casual and creative way. So, but we kind of like expect the teams to be comfortable and safe during the video shooting. So, smart casual will be the minimum requirement for the attire, and we will be happy to see if you are wearing your school uniform. I mean, you kind of like proud to show, which school that you are representative. Okay, so the next questions is about judging presentation video. Is the quality of the video is one of the judging criteria? Yes, to answer that, yes. The maximum mark for quality production for video pitching is entirely is around 25%. Okay, so
Thank
can
you.
I pass the next question about video or audio quality to Mr. Anandan?
Thank you, Dr. Nurain. Thank you. Okay. Uh, Before I go to the next question, it's also about video. I just want to make a comment. This year, we are getting more questions related to the quality of the video and the audio. Okay. Previously, questions were more centered on uh, the product itself or the innovation itself. I suppose by now a lot of our alumni and new students of the same schools are getting an idea of what we need in terms of the team, because we are keeping the team the same. So I suppose you have moved on to the technology of the product. Okay. Let me read the question. The question is: can we get more explanation about accuracy of the audio quality? What is the best video resolution for the pitch video? In regards to the accuracy and also the fluency portion of to mark the audio quality, you will be judged based on the correctness of words and how well you structure a sentence while presenting. Do take note that the competition requires you to convey your presentation in English. And for some of you, English may not be your mother tongue or a language that you use day to day. Therefore, these marks are allocated to the team's effort in preparing your own script and the way you present them. Okay, we would like to suggest that the video should be about 720p. Okay, 720 pixels as a minimum quality. For example, that we use in YouTube. Okay, or it can be above. Okay, it can be more. Okay. What is important to note is that the judges will sit through 5 minutes of your presentation, and then they need to understand your invention clearly before they can judge you. Okay, so the video must be clear, not only in terms of high resolution. Okay, we are not looking for very high resolution, but the video itself must convey clearly what the invention is all about, what is it trying to solve, how is it related to the theme, and how did you construct or came up with that solution. Huh? Your video and audio need to be clear and audible to the judges, so that we can make a rational and fair assessment of your innovation. So even though there's a bit of marks for the video quality, but the main thing is your solution. So this is a format that carries your solution clearly. So if we can understand that, that'll be great, and we hope to see very good so-called product out there when we see you in the final. Back to you, Dr. Norain.
Okay. So yeah, the next question is about the quality of the production. You say that in a quality of production or filmmaking or video production ability and the skills criteria, you say that the criteria is about image or video copyright. So the question is asking whether can they use or not use image or video from other resources in parts of our video, for example, such as in introduction. So the answer will be yes, of course, you are allowed to use any image and video, as long it is not under like the copyright, or as long you put credit or you need to put the reference, the source of these images or the video. Yeah, for example, perhaps you want to crop some cartoon or some schematic diagram, for example, to show in as a some part of your video production. So yeah, of course you are allowed. However, please make sure that you put the references, or you put credit where do you get the source from those images or the cartoon, for example. Okay, so the next question again is about one of the still about the video production. So the question is asking us about how do you judge attractiveness? Can you give more explanation about it? Of course. So judging attractiveness is is very very subjective. Of course, it's like beauty in the eye of the beholder. So it's very subjective. So however, we have the rubric. As long you fulfill the mentioned criteria, uh, then you can get you, of course, you will be able to score points if you fulfill the criteria. So about the attractiveness, I can just learn, for example, if you go to class and then your teacher is so boring, so and you know you some if it's boring and then it lead to you won't be able to concentrate, and then you won't be able to understand. So how much the lesson do you think that you'll be to understand the lesson at the end? So here, as I say, as at the YIC committee, we will score based on how you get the attention of the judges. So why the innovating is important, the ability of you to convey your innovation and then to get their attention is equally important to ensure that people are aware of your innovation. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you can be as creative as you want, or but please make sure people whoever that view your video will able to understand your innovation, or you will be able to deliver your objective or the idea through the video that you produce. Okay, so yeah, the next one I can pass the question to back to Mr. Anandan.
Thank you, Narain. Thank you, Dr. Narain. Okay, uh, guys, I know there are only, I think for my screen, there are only few of you listening, but does not matter. Okay, I'm sure this gets recorded and a lot of others can also listen in and benefit from similar questions. Give me a minute.
Oh, Mr. Anandan is having a internet problem. Yeah, I think I can continue with the next questions. So again, this question is about still about the video. Um, so, okay, the question is about uh, in the presentation or the technical presentation, you say there's a criteria for future recommendations, for example, for improvement. So the participant was asking whether, can we explain more to make them to understand what is it mean by for future recommendation for improvement. So the question would be about, okay, future improvement or no future recommendation
I'm
usually
back.
is very important aspect of innovating, because when you innovate or when you designing some product, it's always you have the idea and then you have the concept, and then you always want to understand where is the weakness of your innovation or the prototype. So based on this weakness, after you go through some, for example, pitching and etc., you'll be able to trace, or you'll be able to do tracing for quality, for the improvement. Okay, so you will think how to improve your prototype further. So this is what the criteria is covering. So for example, if you fabricate a safety dog vest using a reusable plastic, so however, if it's in the process of the usage of, you observe that the dog, it was kind of like uncomfortable when the vest was being used. So in your chore of process, you want to make comfortable for the dog. So you kind of like exploring what kind of material or that you can use for a better or to make the dog comfortable. So for example, you can add more a layer of cushion or cloth, or perhaps you want to change the strap on the clothes to ensure the dog will be comfortable. Okay, so the next innovation, for example, or product, if you are kind of like recreating an application for hydroponic, for example, and then you kind of like realize that your application does not capture any parameter for humidity, so which is kind of like important for your component. So therefore, okay, you realize that is your weakness, and then you want to improve that your work will be rework the reprogramming, for example, and you may like purchase the humidity props and to be added to your current prototype. So you get what I mean, like, if you notice any weakness along in the process of in our YIC competition, for example, or any during the thinking process, or making your prototype that you want to add on later on, if you're thinking it can improve better your innovation. So that's the one that we want to see during your presentation. I mean, your future recommendation for improvement of your innovation. Oh yeah, then I think Mr. Anandan is here back, so I can pass the floor back to Mr. Anandan.
Sorry,
Question.
the power, battery power went off. Okay. Uh, yeah, I also like to add a little bit more. Uh, after running the competition for many years now, we have also understood that this is an important criteria that we want to assess and look at, so that students can understand when they're supposed to write something for future recommendations, it reflects, so that they can reflect on their own product and be humble that there are still, while it's solving some problems, there are still some things that it hasn't solved, or there are still some problems with their solution. So these understanding these uh, uh, weaknesses helps us to become better inventors. That's why now we are looking at that aspect as well. Okay. There's another question, if I can add on. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for filling in, Dr. Narain. There's a question. This is the last on my list. Can we show a complete prototype in the video and show the better product in a picture? Obviously, yes, sure. Okay. It will work great if you can also add the differences between your prototype and the end product in your picture. Okay. Meaning you you have fabricated the whole prototype. Okay. And that's what we want. Okay. We want you to show the full product as a video, especially if it is functional. You want to show some working aspect of that prototype. It will be great. In fact, that's what adds a lot of strength to the whole video. More so because it will help us to understand that, yeah, the actual product is working, the final product is there. So it will give us a visual of so the end product. So we do encourage you, please do put. Okay. Okay. uh, and it will also help us to understand, okay, this is how it looks, this is how it works, and this is where there is room to improve, this is how it can be made better. Okay, so please do that. Okay, video should not only consist of technical aspects of your solution, but it should have the final product of your solution as a functional video, or working prototype as well. Okay, thank you, thank you, students. Thank you, listeners. I'm yet to see any questions on the comments. Probably because there's only I can see only two names there. Uh, Nonetheless, those who are viewing live or after that, okay, after that, a lot of other students may get an opportunity to view, and if they have any questions related to the competition as a whole, or specific technical questions about their innovation, they can always get back to the Secretariat of ASTI as well as YIC working group. With that, I think, Dr. Nurain, is there anything that you would like to add?
No, as long that you guys having fun of making your product or being creative, uh, producing your innovation, I think you should be okay. Great. Looking forward for the final product for everyone, or final video, for example.
Okay. Thank you. With that last note, we will see you on some other event.
Yep. Thank you.